Hey guys, just a little heads up before the actual video starts. At the time I was recording the video, I was not aware of videos regarding the same topic that go even more into the depth of it, where someone actually managed to get the levels of the DLCs to load. I will also link these videos in the description if you want to check that out too. Nonetheless, I hope you will enjoy this video. When I found out that I could add these items already to my inventory by manipulating the ROM of my game, I was really hyped and I wasn't prepared to record a video at all, so the start of it is a little bit rough. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoy it. Due to some manipulation of my game client, I managed to find some of the hidden data that is awaiting us within the next two DLCs that are coming up, and I managed to also equip myself with some of the items, so I will show them to you. I found a lot more items that I will show to you in the form of screenshots with already all the confirmed affixes. You will see some values don't make sense right now. There are some negative damage values on one item that I saw at least, and some items just don't feel like they're complete yet, but we will see. Just a little heads up before we jump onto those items that I found. All the values you can see, like health or damage, might be changed before the items are finally released. It is, in my opinion, unlikely that they do, but I don't know. So what you will see on values right now is just how these items appear in the game at the current state. So this is the snow armor. It looks a little bit like this Titan's armor, but other than that has nothing special to it. The legendary variant is the frost armor, which is one of the very few items I could narrow down to be a unique item, which has this chilling aura, and this will also be the armor I'm using in this video now. So next up we have the OCELOT armor. I know there has been at least one video I'm aware of featuring this armor or talk about this armor, but yet I can't confirm any of the stats on it. All that shows up when I gave myself this item in game was the health. The same for the Shadow Walker, which really looks just like a legendary version of the OCELOT armor, but also here I couldn't get any unique stats on it to show up. Also you can see it is not labeled as unique. As of right now, I can't confirm if it will ever be or if it's a separate armor, or I don't know. It wouldn't make sense to me, but yeah, as of now I can't show more than that. Next up we have this curious armor, as it is called. It has also no other stats on it, so I can't really tell what it is about. The only thing I can tell is that I personally like the look of it, and it looks like it's in some way or shape related to the Heart of Ender, as it features the same color pattern as that boss. And also kind of reminds me of the new boss in the coming up jungle expansion we will get, the jungle abomination. As of right now, again, I don't know. So next up we have the whip, which basically shows nothing else than longer melee reach. Then we also have the legendary variant, the wine whip, which is also the weapon I will showcase in this video. It's basically the same, just that it inflicts poison damage, and we will also see that affix in the video. It is also one of the only items I could label as unique already. The next thing we have here is the snow bow, which is just a regular longbow, I guess, with the affix that it freezes on impact, which I think is a quite nice thing to have. I didn't test it yet if it works with something like Fuse, if all the hit targets then are frozen. Also, it is not really freezing, it is just slowing, like the melee weapon affix freezing. The legendary variant Winter's Touch has an inbuilt multi-shot when it's charged. So when you just spam right click, it won't fire 3 arrows, only if you charge the attack, which is a quite nice thing. I personally prefer bows over crossbows, even though that the harp crossbow is the most powerful ranged weapon in the game right now. I'm looking forward to this item, and I think it's a really great addition to the game. And now we are already at the artifacts, starting off with the Ice Wand, which is basically like the Lightning Wand. It deals AoE damage and stuns the mobs additionally. At least I think it will function like the Lightning Wand. I didn't test it yet, so I can't say for sure, but it kind of looks like it, and yeah, to me it would make sense that it works the same way. Then we also have the Corrupted Seeds, which is the artifact I will show in the game. This is the item I was speaking of when I said it is a negative artifact damage. It does work in game. I'm recording this as I already have tested it. It does for great AoE damage with some CC. It is a good item, I'd say. And there we have the last item for today, the Totem of Soul Protection. It is a quite nice item, I think. At least it's an interesting mechanic. You create a space around you, and when a friendly player within this range dies, the totem will be consumed and immediately revives that player. And probably it will consume souls to place it down, and the player will be revived with a certain health based on the power level of that item. I actually haven't tested this item yet, as it requires a friend to do that, and I don't want to drag a friend of mine into this, as I don't know how these items might affect a friend's game state. But it certainly looks like an interesting item, and I'm pretty hyped about trying that thing out. The only thing I am a little unsatisfied with is that these have been all items already. And if this is really everything we will get over the next 2 DLCs, I feel like that's a little bit too less, but let's see, maybe we will get some great content considering the maps in game, and maybe we'll have a little more content due to that. Okay, now that we're back, the first thing I want to show you is this bow that automatically launches multiple projectiles when charged. So it has a built-in multi-shot when charged up and will shoot a single arrow when you don't charge it up. A pretty nice bow, and also applies the cold effect. Then we have the whip, which will poison the target enemy. And then we have this. It doesn't seem to have any function right now. It should seed all enemies around me. I will just hop on a mission really quick, and we will check it out if it works there. And if the armor, this chilling aura works there as well. Haven't tested it myself yet because I wanted to quickly record this and get the thing out to you as soon as possible. Also, if you are English speaking, like you can see the aura here working. Let's use this. That is the rooting effect. It also deals damage over time. It's pretty intense, and the whip has a good AoE too. That seems like a pretty decent weapon, but fairly slow. The added effect is decent. But you can see it only deals 1 damage at a time, so that is maybe something they still need to work on. So what I was going to say, if it's your English speaking, then you might find this a little bit confusing here. So usually, yeah, I haven't uploaded videos in a long time, and I do not plan to keep my content in English, as I don't really aim for that, but for the sake of what I found out, I thought it would be the best to do this in English so that it reaches most people. Simply because I wanted to share this with you guys and have you interested for what's out there waiting for us. Let's use this once again. This damage already seems fine, like it does a 160 damage there. I was just playing around with a tool and just checking out what I could do with it, with the items. as you can see, I reached level 301 by now, and I am basically done with all the content that is in the game, so I just wanted to give it a quick look. I copied my character files, and that's why I'm not too worried about if these items could corrupt my game state, even if they don't work properly. I will just delete this file anyways and put in my old file. But I was really surprised when I found some of these items. You can see the frost aura working. I don't know, they now have also proper display here. It's interesting. Okay. Because when I took the screenshots, all these items, they didn't have any enchantment possibilities on them. And they didn't have their respective icons. So that's interesting. What I didn't find have been any new enchantments, but I will give that a more detailed look afterwards and maybe add a little bit on that. So actually I have found some enchantments. First thing is that I'm not sure if all of them are new or if some of them already have been in the game. I haven't checked that out. Also, most of them look like this, so they only have a name, a default icon, and no text whatsoever. So I'm not going to include all of them. I actually found 3 new enchantments that aren't available to us in the game yet. Some of them look like they are mob enchantments too, like for the elite mobs, but actually I found those too, and they look very different. I will show you 2 examples of those right now, so you can see that, and then we will jump onto those that I found, because I don't think that they are meant to be on mobs only, because their descriptions are just too fleshed out. So for the first enchantment we have shielding. It is basically a damage reduction aura, kind of like protection, just that it affects all of your party. So if you play as a group, it might make for some efficient slot using, so that not everyone has to put protection on his gear, or that you can maybe equip an armor with no built-in protection, because your allies can compensate that with 1 or 2 times using this aura. So that could be interesting, but for solo play or for builds that aim for doing the most damage, this is for sure not very interesting. Next up we have Barrier, and Barrier sounds pretty OP to me. At least if it's not capped at a certain percentage, you can easily, with 4 players in a group and on the higher difficulties, easily reach the 100% damage reduction and be basically invulnerable for the whole time, as it only requires you to have 10 enemies surrounding you. And if this is really the case, this will completely take the use out of all protection enchantments whatsoever, because this will just be better than all of them in any cases. I mean, even at a single one-on-one boss fight, you will have already 10% protection, and normal protection will give you 15%. So it is a little bit worse against the one-on-one on bosses, but as soon as there is some ads involved or multiple mobs to fight off, this will immediately get better with the second enemy you're fighting against than the normal protection. So this is a really strong thing. Also, no damage enchant, but still really powerful. And do you remember when I at the beginning said that there will be enchantments that will remotely remember you to enchantments we already know from elite mobs? This heals allies enchantment is what I was talking about back then, because it is essentially what these healing allies elite enchants do. When you take damage, some of that damage will be converted to healing for some of your allies. Which is interesting because this would also affect your pets, and it is quite a lot of healing, so I'm really unsure here if this is actually the enchantment we will get or if it's the mob enchantment, because I also couldn't find the mob enchantment, so I don't know, and I'm also not really sure on how useful this enchantment would actually be for single player. I don't think that pets are good enough to make this a viable choice, so and for group play, I also doubt it's really useful. But it's at least an interesting thing to play around with if we really get it. At least it has its own icon, so yeah, maybe it's a thing. We will see. And to finish things off, we have the poison thingy here. I don't know if it already is in the game. I mean, when a little poison spider bites you or you deal damage by spawning these toxin clouds, it could actually be the added effect that deals the damage, like the poison debuff or something for the damage over time effect. But it could also be for the poison whip that it's new now due to that effect. But I just don't know. I just put it here because it had its own icon and not all the other I would call them system used effects that all has this radiance icon and not their own icon. So this has a separate icon. At least it's the icon from the toxin cloud, but I don't know. And then we also have the Bose Boon effect, which says that arrows passing through allies will then increase their damage for a little bit. It has no further stats assigned to it, so we can't see how it actually works. It doesn't have its own icon, but it's an effect that isn't currently used in the game as far as I know. Maybe it was first a concept and was then turned into this energy beam that some of the villagers used to buff their other allied mobs. I don't know, but I could see this being very interesting with the harp bow if it actually is an enchantment that we will get. But so far, I don't know of this. I haven't played around with the enchantments yet. But if you guys want me to do a little more testing, show you a little more of the items, there aren't so many to showcase. But if you wish, I will try to put another video with these items in, and you can also let me know if you want to see some of these enchantments. I can enchant the items with these enchantments, and we can see if they do something at all. We also can try some wild synergies. Maybe the freezing bow with fuse if all the hit enemies then will get frozen. You can go crazy on that if you really have enough ideas. I will put another video out testing all of these if you wish to. And yeah, that's it for this video. So thank you all for watching. I hope I could give you some interesting pictures of what I found. And yeah, have a nice day.